We are going to continue
Everything's
with
bigger in Talladega.
today's Postmates media availabilities for the Hellman's 500 here at Talladega Superspeedway. We are joined by members of our race-winning team. The driver was Joey Logano in the number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford. We were joined by the crew chief, Todd Gordon, and by the car owner, Roger Penske. Gentlemen, 2 years in a row winning this race, and this time it gets you into the round of 8. Why don't you each talk a little bit about that?
Super proud of everybody on the Shell Pennzoil team. Didn't exactly have the race car that had enough speed to start the race, and we kept working on it. And had a little mishap with Jack there, first pit stop. Unfortunately, got a chance to get back and get it cleared up. It wasn't any damage to the race car, and guys did a great job. Cycled us out, got us to lead there later on a pit stop cycle, and Joey did a great job driving forward. And proud of everybody at Team Penske and the race cars they put forward. Obviously, Brad had a lot of speed today, and we had it there at the end when we needed it. So just proud of everything there.
Well, I think it was really Ford won today. When you think about it, the way the cars ran, it was no question that Roush Yates gave us some strong motors. I think we had great cars. We've had them here the last few races, but to see the way the guys worked together, you saw many laps they ran, 1, 2, 3, just grinding down laps was kind of our plan. I see Gibbs had a plan in the back. We had a plan in the front because we knew we had to run up front in order to get ourselves in the next round, and it was really tough on Brad. I mean, he really had a good car, and led 90 laps, probably as dominating as I've ever seen anyone here. Could just drive right up to the front. And I think the things that these crew chiefs passed together, they were able to make a few changes on Joey's, and he came right up when it was time to go. So as Todd said, it was a real team effort, and certainly the guys back at the shop that put these cars together was amazing. And the pit crews didn't make any mistakes, no speeding on pit lane, because you can see track position today was at a premium. And I think I never saw our guys back probably more than 4 or 5 spots from the front. That made a difference there when we got to the end.
All right, we will open up to questions for Todd and Roger. Raise your hand. We'll start up here with Tom, and then we'll go to Jenna.
Hey, Roger, Tom Jensen, FoxSports.com. Congratulations on
Thanks.
the victory today. You're going up, you're going to have to face in the chase Gibbs, who you mentioned, who has 4 wins, and Stuart Haas, who has 2 wins. How does the fact that you guys have 1 car in the chase against 4 and 2 complicate things or make your strategy?
Well, they got more to lose than I do, I guess. They've got 4. Look, it's going to be tough as we get into the next round, and we go to Texas. We certainly have Phoenix and Martinsville, 3 different tracks. And look, we feel good about how we run there, and you're going to have to execute. And to me, there's everyone that's in this chase. From the standpoint, Truex was a real threat to everyone, and the fact that he's not in and Brad is in, you take a couple of real guys that could win, and I think that, it's a level playing field. We got some Toyotas, we got some Chevys, and we got a Ford. So, we're satisfied where we are, and I think that we need to get through what happened last year at Martinsville and get some good success there so we can move on, hopefully, to the next round.
We'll come up front to Jenna.
I have 2 questions. The first is for Todd, piggybacking off of that. Is it detrimental to you at all that you're the lone wolf out there, the lone Ford in that final 8?
I don't think so. I think the great part about Team Penske is we really operate as one team with multiple cars, and the effort is no less because it's 1 and not 2. I think when you watched, if you looked at last year, once Brad got bumped out last year, they came back and were on terror. So there's no letdown in Paul and Brad and the whole Miller Lite team. They'll focus forward on making speed, which will challenge us and help us build a better notebook. Actually, I think in ways it's not a negative and maybe a positive because we're that much more open to each other. It was a tough weekend to come here because we were both out of the top 8. And we both needed something to be successful, and we kind of knew what it was, and we worked together. But going forward, it's all about just wins and success, and the whole team will continue the path that they've been on.
And Roger, how did you start today? Did you think no matter what, you're only getting one car through? Were you thinking that there was a way to get both cars through?
Well, obviously, when you looked at the statistics, it was going to be difficult to get two. Something had to happen to Truex, and it happened early. And if, Brad would have won and Joey would have finished up, I think, up first or second or third, I think we got both cars in. But, you never know. We just had to race. The one thing that we sat around the table and talked about the race weekend, and we said, we got to race every single lap, and I think we showed you that that's what we did. We didn't hang back. We ran every single lap. And, as far as, thinking about one car, the good news is you don't have four people that you're trying to work with, as we go into the chase. We can put all our efforts, on one car, and Joey, and of course Brad is one of the biggest supporters on the team of Joey, so I think that's will pay dividends for us.
I'll go to Stan.
Stan Creekmore outside the box. This is for both of you. How deep did you hold your breath over those final two laps? Given that Brad was out and he needed to win badly.
It's like we do every time we're in the lead with only a few laps to go. Anything can happen. Certainly, I didn't like to see Bowman shooting down across the start-finish line there. But look, Harvick, we owe him a huge vote of thanks. Joey does for the big shove, and certainly Scott on the restart before, because it got us out in front. And once we got in front, they didn't really have any speed to catch us. So it really, I thought it was going to be probably more of a jumbled up mess than it was. I think it was pretty calm when you think about those two restarts.
Yeah, and to build off of that, I'd even go back to the two restarts earlier in that thing. Ryan Blaney did a great job of giving us a push and helping us to secure the lead again. He did a great job at kind of being one forward and helping the whole cause and understanding what he could do to help. And I think he and Brian Scott did a great job, and Kevin worked with us through a long run of keeping guys with discipline that we could get ourselves out there.
Do we have any final questions for Todd and Roger? All right, gentlemen, congratulations on the win and advancing to the round of 8.
Thank you.
We are going to wrap up our media availabilities for today's Hellman's 500 here at Talladega Superspeedway. We are joined by our race winner, Joey Logano, the driver of the number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford. Joey, this is your second win and 22nd top 10 finish this year. But more importantly, this win moves you on to the round of 8 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. So talk a little bit about that.
It feels really good. This morning you kind of wake up and you're like, oh, what's going to happen? This is the first time in this chase format that I've come into Talladega without a win to be locked into the next round. So the feeling of the weekend is definitely a lot different when you're not locked into the next one. So it felt really good to be able to go out there and work under the pressure that was on us this week, and ultimately be able to succeed and come home with a victory. So what a special win. Winning here at Talladega is always special, and it's a lot of fun, and you never know you got it until you're coming off or you don't even know you got it even off a turn forward. So many things that can happen before the start finish line. So it's nice to be able to move on to the next round. That was a great feeling for about 20 minutes, and now we're thinking about Martinsville already and how we're going to go out there and try to get ourselves to Homestead to win a championship.
All right, we'll open up to questions for Joey. Raise your hand, and we'll get a wireless mic. We'll start over here with Jeff in the middle.
Joey, even though you won all 3 races in this round last year, in some ways it seems like you're in better position this year because you're going through the next round and you haven't made anybody mad. Do you think that will actually? I mean, seriously, will
I was wondering where you were going with that, but that's funny.
Will that make a difference? I mean, does that put you in better position this year than last year?
No, well, I hope so. I guess. Really, in all honesty, you're back to a wash, right? When you move on to the next round. So I feel like this team's got a lot of momentum. And I think we had a lot of momentum at this point last year, but I think we got equal amount. If you look at it, Charlotte, we had a tire go out, but we had a fast race car there. We finished 3rd last weekend and win this weekend. We're going to a racetrack that we've proven to have speed before. We haven't won there yet, but we've had speed there, speed that's capable of winning. So I feel good about our chances. I feel good about where we're at in this thing to be able to move on. So, we got speed, we got momentum, we got confidence. So let's go.
Come here to Tom. Right behind you, Tom.
Hey, Joey, Tom Jensen, FoxSports.com. Does it bother you at all that 3 of the guys who are going to be racing in the chase just basically cruise to the back of the field all day?
I don't care what other people do. In all honesty, I got to worry about what I did. They had their strategies to get through. We knew that our strategy was to go out there and lead laps and win. That's how we race. We've said that last couple of years when we come in here with a win, and we're going to race the same way because we know that works for us. But who's to say if we came in here with a 20-something point cushion, how we would race? I don't know. I think I'd go out there and try to race for a win too. But it doesn't bother me. It's strategy, right? Everyone has their own. But yeah, I mean, hey, I guess it worked out for them, and ours worked out for us. So everybody's happy. Thanks.
We'll come up here to Bob.
Bob Hawkers, ESPN. A little bit on that note, were you cognizant of that and knew that Denny might have a hard time making a move to catch you because all his teammates were in the back? And also, Kyle said next year, with this being the second race, that strategy probably you won't be able to do that strategy because you're going to need to dig for every point. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's definitely going to change it up the way this race is played out. So I think that's a good thing. And kind of go into the next race and kind of know what you have to do kind of makes you feel a little bit better than coming into here and knowing what you have to do is kind of, I guess, nerve-wracking. But, yeah, I mean, for me, I knew my situation. I studied the points. I looked at it and kind of knew who I had to beat and what would happen if a certain driver won and what I had to do. And, it seemed like there right after the first pit stop, kind of everything changed up. We were coming down pit road and we took the jack with us. I'm like, oh boy, this isn't going the way we planned. And then next thing you know, the 78 blew up and you're like, well, that's going to help us some. And that was a caution we needed to stay on the lead lap after making an extra pit stop. So all that kind of, I don't want to say worked out, but it kind of helped us along and it made me feel a little bit better that our chances to get to the next round. But there's a lot going through your mind, a lot more than just going out there and thinking about winning. You're thinking about, okay, where's this guy at? What situation am I in? And you try to make your decisions based off of that, which is not the way I'm used to racing, but I kind of had to at certain points.
I'll go in the back.
Thanks. Doug Turnbull, WSB Radio. Kind of on that note, since you and Brad were in similar positions, slightly different points, how is it going to play out at the end there with you guys running nose to tail with Blaney coming down to it? Did you meet beforehand and decide one of us needs to win more than the other, or at that point were you so close that it didn't matter?
Yeah, it was close. I felt bad for Brad. I think he had the fastest car. There's times that if he did get shuffled out, he drove back to the lead, and it's like, wow, and for a long time, I can drive up to fifth, and I just get stuck. And it's like, I can't get any further forward. And he had a very good car, and unfortunately, got some garbage, which made his motor retire. But yeah, that's a tough one. But in the case of us racing at the end, we're gonna race like we normally do. We're gonna help each other as much as we can, and we're gonna race each other because it's a race. I think we didn't really even have to talk much about it because we kind of knew our situations.
Do we have any final questions? Over here on the side.
Yeah, hi. Do you recommend dragging a jack for a lap as a good race strategy?
No.
Okay. How does that happen, and then how do you overcome it?
I don't know how it happened. I know when you're trying to bust off, 10.5-second pit stops that, you push things as much as you can. I know speedway cars are a little bit different. I don't know if that had something to affect with the raised ride heights when you come to these speedways, but I didn't even know it for the longest time. I went out on the racetrack and, with the raised heights, you don't really realize that the jack's still under there until you get to the corner and the car compresses a little bit. And my crew chief Todd said, hey, you've got the jack with you. And I'm looking around, looking in the mirror, and I didn't really see it. And then I looked to the left. I saw the jack post like at my head. And I was like, I don't need that. So I tried to shake it off, couldn't do that. And we had to come back down pit road. And it may be a good thing and maybe a blessing that we didn't lose it because, you run that thing over, that could have done a lot of damage to our race cars. So, like I said, we got the caution and it ultimately was okay. But, yeah, we're going to have to buy a new jack next week. But it's nice to know that we have a world record of fastest jack. underneath a race car. So, but either way, I was proud of the way my team recovered. They came back through at the end, had some good pit stops, which ultimately gave us the lead, and then be able to hold us off. So my team did a good job and being able to recover from that little mishap.
And we'll take our final question from Jenna.
I get to close it out.
Oh boy.
Joey, are you any different, either yourself or your approach or your attitude, from this point last year where you were flying through the rounds but didn't probably understand the issue that you had lurking ahead the next week, to now when you had to win today almost, or be very good and everything's not so crystal clear?
As a person, you always grow, or you hope to grow every day. You hope to rest your head at bed at every night and say, well, I learned this today and I'm going to be better tomorrow. I feel like I'm better today than I was yesterday, and I feel like I should be. So the only way you become better, and the only way you stay successful, because you'll get caught up and passed before you know it. But I learned some valuable lessons last year. I learned a whole new level that I didn't know I had. Which was really cool, and now I know how to reach that level mentally inside a race car to really make things happen and be a great leader for my team. And there's a lot of things like that I took out of last year that I feel like I don't think of anything as a waste of a season. You always learn something from something. So today, this weekend I went through a different situation, being in a do or die spot. But in all honesty, I kind of thought back to a couple years ago when we were in Homestead, and that's a do or die spot. We were down there racing for a championship, and I thought, well, this is just like Homestead a couple years ago. And I learned a lot from that weekend on how I would handle it if I got put in that situation again, and that was today. And it's fun to be able to succeed under that. So hopefully we can take some of the things that we learn and about yourself personally as much as anything, and about your race team, to be able to move on and go to Homestead.
A sort of follow-up. Do you, last year, eliminate the whole thing with Kenseth, but it just based on the way you ran in the second round, you almost had like a bullseye on your back. You were the guy to beat. Do you think that you're much quieter and under the radar right now?
I think we're a little bit more under the radar than we were last year. We didn't win 3 races in a row, but I think we've had 3 really good race cars in this round. And like I said earlier, Charlotte, we had a car that I think we could have won with. It was really good. It's easy to say that when you crash out, but I thought it was a car that I could have won with, or at least give them a run for it. Kansas, we had a good enough race car to finish 3rd. And then come here and win. So we got momentum. We have speed. Like I said, we have a lot of confidence for that reason, because we know we can do it. We know we can go to these next couple races, and they're good racetracks for us. All 3 of them are. So we know we just got to go out there and fight and do what we know how to do. We don't need to change anything. We just got to keep the intensity up and keep realizing that we like the pressure. I think that we're better under pressure, and that's kind of our motto this year, and that we can fight under those situations, and we know how to do that. So, like I said, I look forward to those moments. I look forward to this weekend.
We're actually going to have one more final question from Jim Utter.
Jim Utter, Motorsport.com. I know the optimum scenario would have been for you and Brad to advance to the next round. But given how good you both have, and particularly him this season, do you feel it's an advantage to have his help going into the final 4 races, and any doubt in your mind that he'll do whatever, and that team will do whatever they can possibly do to help your cause down the stretch?
Yeah, I think Team Penske does a good job at being a team, right? It's in our name. we better, and this is a shot for a championship on the 50th anniversary. The IndyCar guys did it. We know that. We got a shot with the Xfinity car and the Owners' Championship, and we still got a shot here in the Cup car. So we're going to keep working hard at that. But yeah, Brad and I have always been great teammates. We've worked well together. The 2 teams work really well together. We've shown that on speedways here at Talladega before, and I think that model will keep being shown throughout the next few races, and trying to push through to get Roger a second championship. So we'll keep working on that. But he also has a lot to race for still. You know what I mean? You can still finish up there in points, throughout the end of the season. So, and he's got a fast race car. So knowing Brad, he's still going to want to win. I don't blame him. But I think that also will help us along, just like they were when they were in these rounds.
All right, Joey, congratulations and good luck in the round of 8.
Great. Thank you, guys.